So you are shipping fast, doing everything right, and still your MRR of your SaaS is not growing. I have seen this story play out multiple number of times with the founders I have studied, and this had also happened with me. So it looks like it is a feature problem every time you are facing such problems, but oftentimes it's not, it's something else. Let's discuss it in detail. So before diving straight to the point, I want to tell you that I have made some notes here on my desktop. I will be referring to that note during this video. So I want to tell you a small story or an incident that happened to me a few months ago. So on that day, I opened the door, take a step out, and it's just too hot. The air is warm, telling me to go back inside the home. But I cannot do that. If I don't walk at least 10,000 steps, which I had promised to myself that I will do every single day, I will break that promise. So I start traveling towards the gym. I am walking towards the gym. I see one change. Suddenly the dark clouds show up, and today since the morning this is the first time I smile looking at the sky. Maybe the universe has finally decided that it will make things easy for me, because the day was hot and it was getting very difficult for me to reach to the gym. Also, I was carrying a gym bag which was on my back, so everything was looking very bad and I was not feeling that I am going to make it to the gym. But still I knew that if I didn't complete my 10,000 step, I'll be breaking my promise. So I keep continuing and moving towards the gym. So the dark cloud appears and first few drop falls, and at that point I felt so much relieved, like God has blessed me, that kind of thing. At that point I close my eye, I tell myself that finally I get what I needed. Now I will reach the gym easily. But at that point when I was thinking all this and moving towards the gym, so suddenly I see that the dark clouds are gone. The rain had stopped, the clouds drift away, and the sun is hitting harder than before. So the rain was over entirely. So I stand there watching the sky like it has betrayed me, kind of thing. When it gave you a false hope. It gave me a false hope. The dark clouds promised me relief, but it was back to the normal in just few minutes. I feel stupid believing it, and I am angry at that point, not at the clouds. Obviously I can't be angry on the cloud. I was angry on myself that I let something outside control my mood, and I thought that it is going to make things easier for me. So I keep continuing moving towards the gym. So that moment when the grey cloud appeared and then disappeared, it was all disappointment for me. Obviously I thought, since it had been hot for so many days, maybe the entire weather and it is going to change from now on, and these kind of thoughts were going in my mind. So but I felt like betrayal, because in a brief moment you believed that things will change. I trusted the grey clouds. Now I want to talk about this betrayal. Now this is what most founders do when they are positioning the product. So when their positioning stop matching the product they have built, they are betraying their customers. I will tell you how. Like it is when the product creator promises rain but delivers sun. It is just like that. Like the product creator has promised the rain just like grey cloud, and they have delivered like sun, hot weather. Now I remember it clearly because of my first product I made. I spent months building my first product, believing that it's good enough and people would come. But when I released the product, nothing much happened. No people were talking about my product because I had no distribution and marketing skill at that point. So what did I do at that point? So since I was not getting any feedback from any customers because I had zero customers, I slowly started to make assumptions on my own. Assumptions like, if people used it, what kind of features will they expect from this product? Now I started adding more and more features. But when I was adding these features, I felt like I was making a good progress, because I am adding features to my product which I have built. But when finally I was done with adding 5, 6 and features, I realized that I started building a simple tool to buy stuff online, and now I am trying to clone Amazon. Means I started building a very simple tool and I was trying to make it complex unnecessarily. There was definitely no users. So why did I talk about my experience? Because this is my experience and the other product creators experience is little different, but it is related in one way. I was building a totally different product compared to what I expected to build in the beginning of my journey. So the original promise I started has disappeared, and that's what most product founders fall into. They start with one clear positioning, like we are a note-taking app, that kind of positioning, and then when users arrive, start giving them feedback and their products start to evolve, but their positioning never evolves. They start to betray all the people who land on their landing page. I will tell you how they are betraying those people who land on their landing page thinking about one product and getting something another. So for the first time, when you build a product and you positioned it as a note-taking app, now there is no users and people started eventually joining your journey of building the note-taking app, and they started using the product, and they simultaneously they are giving you feature suggestion, what kind of features you should add in the product, and you kept improving the product, adding new features based on those people's suggestions. Earlier you have said positioning as note-taking app, but your product has evolved so much, and the journey of evolving your product had been so slow that you never realized that your product has become a totally different tool compared to a note-taking app or a note-taking website kind of product. So it has changed, but you as a founder still thinks that your product is still a note-taking app, but it has actually become a different kind of tool. Now your product, which started as a note-taking, has become maybe a collaboration tool. Now you have evolved the product and it has become a collaboration tool, but you are not realizing that. So now you are positioning your products as note-taking. Now whenever a new users land on your page and they see the note-taking positioning and they become curious about your app, and finally they pay some money to use your app. Now when they start using your app, they are not getting the note-taking features, they are getting a totally different product. Actually at that point they will feel betrayed, just like how I feel betrayed when the dark cloud appeared and I thought it is going to rain, but it never rained. Similarly, those users expected one thing, came to use your product and they got a different thing. They will feel betrayed. Anyone will feel betrayed because someone has given you money for something and you are not delivering on the promise. So that is why it is very, very important for you to keep evolving your positioning and core messaging behind your product. If you are not evolving your positioning and your messaging based on what kind of features you are adding to the app, your product will feel like good will feel good for the previous user, but for any new users you are actually betraying them. So this is very important to keep in mind. So this is what I wanted to convey through this video.